Hello, it's Media Center Ukraine Odesa. We are having a second briefing for today, and we invited today the members and the partners of the UNation project about the Ukrainian-German-European collaboration and cooperation, possible investments for Ukrainian startups and technological researchers. The first one to have floor is Jan Shapiro, the founder of UNation project. Jan, the floor is yours.
Thanks. We initiated UNation project to build Ukraine by modern digital standards, by European standards. Our mission is to make bridges between Ukrainian community, Ukrainian entrepreneurs and international companies, investors, corporations for implementation of the innovative projects for the recovery of our country. And today we are meeting a group of brave investors from Germany who came to Ukraine in this difficult, terrible time, not waiting for the victory, to look for the opportunities for investing in our young entrepreneurs, startups already now.
Thank you. So now we are giving floor to Sebastian Schwenke, CEO of Business Angel Verband Berlin-Brandenburg. Sebastian, what is Business Angels and what are you doing here in Ukraine?
Yeah, thanks, Jan, for giving us the opportunity to be here, also helping organize this trip. The Business Angel Association of Berlin, we are a network of private investors, and it's always said the business angel has the two wings. One is the capital, and the other one is the knowledge and the network. Our members try to invest into startups. So it's all about smart money. It's really about helping startups in the very early phases to get really from teams of 4 people to maybe 10, 15 people. We always say to get them VC ready. So really help them then build their products, build their prototypes, MVPs, to then scale to international markets. And this is our mission here, to find those projects and to support entrepreneurs in their early stages here in Ukraine.
Thank you. We'll get back to you, I suppose, with questions. But now, Stefan Schandera, member of Business Angels Berlin.
What is the question?
What are you doing here?
Also, okay.
Did you find anything interesting worth mentioning now?
Yeah, I can add to this. We definitely found a lot of interesting opportunities here, and there is the resilience of the country in fighting in the situation which drives entrepreneurship, and we see an amazing development, especially among young people and digitalization, but also spillover effects to other sectors where that can be very interesting for investors, not only in a couple of years, but already today, definitely.
Thank you. Michael Hübner, a member of Business Angels Verband Berlin-Brandenburg. What can you say about the UNation project and your cooperation with Ukrainian developers and between Ukrainian developers and German developers?
What I think what is really important to answer that question is to come here and to be here in the country, especially in these difficult moments, to see how the situation really looks like, how people feel, what kind of motivation people have, and then to find the right moment and the right projects to really decide on. And for us also, business is also kind of a humanitarian idea, because any kind of successful business is helping the country in developing its economy. So that's also one of our aims here.
Thank you. And thanks to Ukrainian army, we have quite a peaceful life here in Odesa. And so Ukrainian developers, technicians, startuppers, they can live here, they can work here, communicate here with the world. And so my question is, did you find anybody interested in the cooperation with Business Angels from Germany? Any projects you see here and you want to mention now?
There were many, actually. There are hardware projects. We just met with a company from Odesa that is very active in edtech, so education technologies, and we think there are very obvious potentials, for example, for the German education market, where we could help actually reaching out to European markets immediately. But at the same time, there are very engaged investors and people from the innovation and economic development community, like Jan Shapiro, right? And these are the people we need also to build these bridges.
You are going to return to Germany shortly, and what are you going to do with the knowledge and network and connections you obtained here in Ukraine? Is it going to be some business forum, startup forum, any connection? I mean, what is the result of you taking part here in the Ukrainian event?
Yeah, I think we're not so much about talking. We're really about having, hands-on projects, and I think we did a very good deep dive into the ecosystem here, although it was only a few weeks we've spent here. And I think we already figured out a few startup projects which could be worthwhile, and really looking forward to investing into those and not really building conferences, not really building a huge platform, nothing too theoretical, but really, getting into doing. Because us as business angels, we learned back in Germany, you really need to do some deals, you really need to engage, and you learn much more than, just bringing people together and talking. A lot of people do this, and it's important for, the reach, that people know what's happening here in Ukraine. But we really believe that, really hands-on, getting our hands dirty here in the market, and collaborate with startup founders, with aggregators like Jan, would be the much better way to really help,
What we have seen is a lot of startups actually quite often take the move to going abroad, like to the US. It's very common. We would like to encourage people to also stay here, right? We do not see our role in investing in Ukrainian startups and taking them to Germany. That's not what we want. So it's more about keeping them here. And at the same time, you have investors in Germany who are interested in helping rebuilding the country. There's a momentum, a strong momentum, but it's a black box for many. Many people do not really know what is going on in this particular area in Germany. So our mission is very much to collect information, to talk to people, and then taking these information back and telling the story and telling about the pros and cons. So when you ask about the objective, that's the main objective for us now.
I got a question sent online from my colleague, and he asks whether did you or any other German investors, business angels had such experience of networking, connecting, working together in the conditions of full-scale war? Did you have some experience like that before?
Luckily, and that's a unique situation for us as well, and that's why we saw it important to come here and see what is really the situation and to speak with people here. And we get a lot of really positive feedback also that it is important to come here. And we saw that it's also safe in a way to come here if you observe certain rules. And so we were welcomed here with a lot of really overwhelming sympathy, kind of, which gave us a lot of strength also to follow this path, to be really here to network, to get to know people, because in the end it's all about people working together, and we need to get to know each other.
To answer your question, Michael has been an investor in Ukraine. He has invested in Kharkov, in an IT company, and this was after 2014. And we understand that the war actually started not in 2022, but in 2014. So this might answer your question.
Michael, you mentioned something interesting personally for me in the beginning, that business coming here has some humanitarian aims and some humanitarian tasks to do, supporting people. And did you meet such positions, such point of view from Ukrainian businessmen and Ukrainian startups who work here, the same understanding of business?
That's a really good question. I think not as much as we maybe think about it. But also, I think it's not a question, for you it's about surviving, for you it's about resilience, for you it's about reconstruction. And then I think what I see here is that there is a big kind of bond of people, there is community, and I think you don't even ask yourself the question as we would do, like motivating German investors is different than motivating Ukrainian business people.
I'm asking because I have a friend who was a developer here in Ukraine, and he moved to Europe a few years ago, and he said that he had to switch a little bit in his point of view about making business plans and making presentations of his business plans, and he had to switch the idea from earning money as an only task, to helping people and to satisfying their needs and their what they wanted to satisfy with his product. And he said it was kind of interesting and complicated thing for him to switch a little bit in his mind.
That's definitely something also the local community needs to learn in terms of mentality of startups, in terms of mentality of business. That of course there is differences in mentality, but that's how we need to start to cooperate and to start to meet, to get to know each other, to discover that.
Jan, the question to you, are you going to go to Germany possibly, or your friends from Germany are going to do the same actually as representatives of business angels in Berlin did here?
We already made 4 events, and 3 of them were abroad. The first one was in Berlin, and Stefan was our speaker in the panel discussion there. And also we made events in Amsterdam and Paris. And after that, we're bringing some results to Odesa conference. And because we really understand that to inspire our local community, we need to show them some results. We need to bring some foreign representatives, investors, and to convince them that really European countries, European investors are ready to support us now, but we need to prove them that we have some projects, and we already represented some projects in Europe. This is our mission, not just to launch our own startup accelerator, but also to represent our partners' projects and together, because just together, when we made the idea of creating Ukraine by the modern standards, we'll take a national idea in our minds, we will succeed. And also I have a question to our German colleagues. What do you think what our Ukrainian entrepreneurs and community need to change in their mind to partnership with European companies, investors? What rules they need to follow for these collaborations?
Yeah, maybe let me start on that.
Okay.
To be honest, I was truly amazed how many entrepreneurs we met who still, despite those difficult times, would still try take the risk and actually, build their business, build their startup, which is already risky. But there was so much spirit, and I think what needs to change a little bit is that the mainstream kind of understands that being an entrepreneur is not, or is a very viable option to build a business and become self-employed kind of, instead of working, kind of going the safe route with big corporate. And also what was mentioned, kind of the mindset that it's not only about the money, but we feel like if you have strong values and you see a real problem, build a good solution and pursue it with some values where you can really, help people to solve their problems, this is where the money comes automatically. And I think in some parts, some people are a little bit too focused on the quick returns, but in my opinion, you have a very solid basis here, and I can only encourage everyone here in Ukraine to either become active as an angel investor and kind of support those small-scale businesses, those startups who might become the market leaders, the global leaders of in 5 to 10 years, but also for every student, for everyone who thinks about building a business, go for it, take the risk, it will be worthwhile, because this innovation is what, in my opinion, Ukraine and many countries in the world really need to prosper in the future.
Thanks for so positive predictions.
I think I have a question to you, Stefan, and your colleagues. You mentioned that your aim was not to take entrepreneurs and technicians from here to Germany, but to help them stay here.
Yep.
And did you see that people here support actually such point of view at that conference, or they are looking for a way to go abroad actually, Germany, to Europe, to States, to Canada, to Israel, anywhere actually? Did you see that there is some decent quantity of people who actually are ready to stay and work here?
For sure, we did not do some kind of empiric analysis, right? But there is a difference between people who do business driven by opportunity versus people who do business driven by necessity, for sure. And if you take this group who is doing this by necessity, there might be more of a migration drive, right? The people we met, almost all of them, they were actually driven by opportunity. They said, we have a limited market, there are other opportunities in other places, so we might register the business there. But at the end, it's more like open a branch in a foreign country for whatever reason. It's not moving the business and migrating themselves. So I would definitely see there was a concern about this among people, but in terms of our mission and what we would like to achieve. But I would definitely not say that there was a strong motivation of people to migrate.
You mentioned some educational startup which may be capable of going to German market, possibly.
Yeah.
I hope they will succeed. Can you possibly name a few more ideas and startups you've met here, maybe without titles or with titles, if you can, just to give a general impression of what is developing? I'm asking because our previous briefing was a briefing with the head of startup. It's not accelerator, it's more like initiative. They are collecting information and projects from defense and security sphere in Ukraine and present it to international investors. I don't think you've seen such startups here in Odesa, and I just want to get, and I want people who are watching that presentation to get general impression of what's going on, in what directions IT is moving here.
If I may start, I would say the defense sector is a natural driver at the moment. I think that's needless to say. But the defense sector means a lot. If you take, for example, medtech, so medical technologies, there's, for example, a lot of hardware development with prostheses and all this. Just to give you an example, we have actually talked to a few of them. And there's a very strong development because the technologies here are very, very advanced. And if you take the same technologies and products from the West, the price tag is very different. So your products are very competitive. And I would definitely see very strong potentials here, but also in agriculture. And digitalization has a cross function. If you put agriculture and digitalization and hardware development together, there's a lot of potential. So this is what we see at the moment emerging here.
Thank you. That's quite an interesting insight. Thank you. So if no one is going to add anything, we are going to close the briefing to let you go back to Germany, actually. Thanks for the visit, and we will be happy to see you here in some time with some new information, new ideas, and new insights.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Дякую.
Thanks for having us. It's been a pleasure here. The people were really, really friendly, and I really hope to inspire some people from here also to support this mission. And we'll definitely be back. And we hope to start something really great here to help rebuild Ukraine, cooperate together, and really foster the connection between Central Europe and Ukraine. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. It was the last briefing in Media Center Ukraine Odesa for today. We are going to announce our tomorrow and Thursday program shortly, so watch our Telegram channel. Contact us if you are interested in any topics we are raising here on the floor, and stay with us. Thanks.
A few pictures of us.
Yeah, we'll be happy to.